Have you ever imagined having your life turned upside down by a cruel rumor? Imagine being a mother who, after working hard every single day to give her son a better future, is suddenly humiliated in front of an entire town for something she didn't do. But what happens when that mother decides she won't be defeated, that she'll fight for the truth, no matter the cost? Today, I'm going to tell you the story of Anna. She's a simple woman with an unbreakable spirit, and she's about to face not only the judgment of a small town but also a dark plan for revenge that could destroy everything she's built. Stay with me until the very end to see how one woman, one brave boy, and an entire town are changed forever. And don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell so you don't miss a single part of this incredible journey. I promise you're going to be surprised.
The afternoon sun painted the sky in shades of orange over the small town of Willow Creek, a place where life seemed to move at a slow and predictable pace. In the heart of this tranquility lived Anna, a woman in her early 40s with eyes that bore the mark of countless sleepless nights and a smile that, despite everything, still radiated a sweet hope. She was a single mother to Lucas, an 11-year-old boy whose curiosity and energy contrasted with the melancholy that sometimes hung over his mother. Anna worked tirelessly at 2 jobs, balancing the demands of her life with her dedication to her son. Her routine was arduous, but she found joy in the small moments. A tight hug from Lucas, a spontaneous laugh, a colorful drawing. She was the personification of strength and resilience, a woman who, despite the difficulties, had never given up fighting for a better future for herself and her son. However, fate, always unpredictable, was about to cast a shadow over her that would change everything. A malicious rumor, an unfounded piece of gossip, spread through the town like wildfire, tarnishing Anna's reputation and exposing her vulnerabilities. People who had once greeted her with a smile now looked at her with contempt and disapproval. She felt naked, exposed, as if everyone could see right through her. The public humiliation hit her like a punch to the stomach, leaving her breathless and without solid ground. The world she knew had transformed into a hostile and cruel place. Willow Creek, a small town nestled in the heart of the United States, was a place where traditions lived on and everyone knew each other by name. The wooden houses with cozy porches, the tree-lined streets, and the calm pace of life created an atmosphere of familiarity and security. But behind this idyllic facade, secrets and prejudices hid, capable of destroying anyone's life. It was in this setting that Anna struggled to raise her son, Lucas, a boy with curious eyes and an easy smile, who loved exploring nature and dreamed of being an astronaut. Anna, in turn, carried in her soul the marks of a difficult past. Abandoned by her parents at a young age, she learned to fend for herself, working from an early age to survive. Her strength and determination were admirable, but the pain of rejection still haunted her at times. She loved Lucas above all else, and her greatest motivation was to protect him and give him the life she never had. She was a simple woman with a huge heart, striving to be the best mother possible. Among the residents of Willow Creek, Mr. Peterson, the owner of the local grocery store, stood out. He was an elderly man with a heart of gold who always offered a smile and a word of comfort to everyone. He was like a grandfather to Lucas and a loyal friend to Anna. However, there were also those who hid behind false smiles and venomous words, like Mrs. Henderson, a bitter woman who loved to spread rumors and intrigues. Anna trusted Mr. Peterson as a friend and advisor, while she constantly felt judged by Mrs. Henderson. Lucas, in turn, saw Mr. Peterson as a grandfather and Mrs. Henderson as a scary figure. These relationships, woven into the daily life of Willow Creek, would be put to the test when the scandal that hit Anna came to light, revealing the true face of each person. What would happen to Anna, Lucas, and the small community? The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Everyone's life was about to change forever. The gossip that hit Anna was not a simple rumor. but a carefully orchestrated setup to destroy her. A compromising photo, digitally manipulated, was released on social media, exposing her to a scandal that left her devastated. The town, once peaceful, transformed into a stage for judgments and condemnations. Lucas, innocent, became the target of mockery at school, while Anna, increasingly isolated, felt the weight of humiliation and despair. The truth, however, remained hidden, buried under a mountain of lies and manipulations, revealing that the person behind it all was someone very close to her. That was the beginning of a battle that Anna would need to face alone, with what strength she had left in her heart. Anna's main goal was to clear her name and protect Lucas from the cruelty of the world. She knew she needed to find out who was behind the setup, but with each step she took, more obstacles appeared in her path. The loss of her jobs left her without financial resources, and social isolation made her feel increasingly alone. She felt as if she was fighting an invisible enemy who attacked her from the shadows. While Anna struggled to get back on her feet, Lucas, seeing his mother's suffering, decided to take action. He began to investigate on his own, following clues he found in the town, like a true child detective. His innocence and determination led him to discover small secrets that could help Anna unravel the truth. The relationship between mother and son grew stronger every day, creating a bond of complicity and unconditional love. Parallel to Anna's struggle, her friend Mr. Peterson, observing the injustice that was befalling her, decided to use his influence in the town to help her. He began to investigate on his own, using his experience and wisdom to expose the culprits. He became a key ally for Anna, offering her moral and practical support. The friendship between them deepened, revealing a bond of loyalty and mutual respect. Meanwhile, Mrs. Henderson, feeling threatened by Anna's growing determination, intensified her attacks, spreading new rumors and lies. She was not willing to let Anna get back on her feet and would do anything to keep her humiliated and isolated. The rivalry between them intensified, creating a growing tension that would culminate in an inevitable confrontation. The game was set, and the battle for the truth was just beginning. One rainy night, an anonymous envelope was left at Anna's door. Inside, there was a copy of the compromising photo, but with a crucial difference. On the back, there was a handwritten message, revealing the identity of the person who had orchestrated the setup. It was someone Anna would never suspect, someone she trusted and loved. The revelation hit her like lightning, mixing pain, anger, and disbelief. The message in the envelope not only revealed the identity of the culprit, but also exposed the motives behind the setup. It was a complex plot involving envy, jealousy, and a desperate search for revenge. Anna realized that the person who had caused her so much harm was not just a stranger, but someone who was part of her inner circle. The betrayal left her devastated, but also spurred her to action. From that moment on, Anna was no longer a victim, but a warrior determined to fight for truth and justice. She knew she needed to expose the culprit, not only to clear her name, but also to protect Lucas and all the people who had been harmed by that person's evil. Urgency took hold of Anna, who could no longer afford to wait. She knew time was running out and that the culprit would do anything to keep their secrets hidden. She decided to act cautiously but with determination, seeking evidence that could expose the culprit and reveal the truth to the entire town. The revelation in the envelope left Anna stunned, but also spurred her to act with caution. She knew she needed concrete evidence to expose the culprit, and that any misstep could put her in danger. She began to investigate in secret, seeking clues and evidence that could confirm the truth. With each discovery, the pain of betrayal mixed with the determination to seek justice. While Anna dedicated herself to her investigation, Lucas, realizing his mother's anguish, decided to help her. He used his intelligence and curiosity to discover small details that could be important to the investigation. He became Anna's right-hand man, her partner in the search for the truth. The relationship between mother and son grew stronger every day, creating a bond of complicity and unwavering love. In the midst of this turmoil, Anna met a new character, an investigative journalist named Marcos, who would become interested in her story. He offered to help her spread the truth, using his knowledge and influence to expose the culprit. Marcos's arrival brought new hope to Anna but also put her in a risky situation. She needed to decide whether to trust him or whether he would be just another piece in the game of manipulation. The story's setting expanded, leaving the small Willow Creek behind and taking Anna on a journey of discoveries and challenges. She found herself involved in a complex plot, with secrets and lies that extended beyond her town. She realized that the battle she was fighting was not just personal but also a fight against injustice and corruption. Anna's motivation deepened, driven not only by the desire to clear her name but also by the need to protect her son and all the people who had been harmed by the culprit's evil. She became a stronger, braver, more determined woman. She was no longer a victim but a warrior fighting for justice and truth. The journey was just beginning, and the challenges she would face would be even greater. Anna's investigation intensified, leading her to discover new clues that pointed to a corruption scheme involving powerful people in the town. She realized that the setup against her was just the tip of the iceberg and that there was much more at stake than she imagined. The risk increased with each step, but she was not willing to give up. She was determined to expose the truth, no matter the cost. Meanwhile, the relationship between Anna and journalist Marcos deepened, turning into something more than a simple professional partnership. They felt attracted to each other, but the situation they were in made it difficult to give vent to this feeling. Love and passion mixed with danger and uncertainty, making Anna's journey even more complex. Mrs. Henderson, feeling cornered, decided to use all means to prevent Anna from exposing her. She began to threaten Lucas, using him as a bargaining chip in her dirty game. Her son's safety became Anna's biggest concern, and she found herself facing a dilemma: protect Lucas or move forward with the investigation. Her son's life was in danger, and she needed to make a difficult decision. Mr. Peterson, realizing that the situation was getting out of control, decided to act on his own. He used his influence in the town to protect Anna and Lucas, but also put himself at risk by challenging powerful people. He became a target and his life was in danger. The loyalty and friendship between Anna and Mr. Peterson were put to the test, showing that love and courage could be stronger than fear. Anna's investigation led her to a direct confrontation with Mrs. Henderson, who, cornered, revealed the whole truth behind the setup. She confessed that she had acted out of envy and jealousy, and that she had manipulated the evidence to incriminate Anna. The confession was a shock to everyone but also confirmation that Anna was right from the start. The truth was beginning to come to light, but the battle was not over yet. Marcos, using his influence in the media, released Mrs. Henderson's confession, exposing the truth to the entire town. Anna's reputation was restored, and the people who had previously judged her began to apologize. The town was divided between those who supported Anna and those who still believed in Mrs. Henderson's lies. Lucas, seeing his mother's suffering, decided to act on his own. He gathered the children of the town and organized a peaceful protest in front of Mrs. Henderson's house, demanding that she surrender to justice. Lucas' act of courage inspired many adults, who joined the protest, showing that unity and solidarity could be stronger than hatred and evil. Mr. Peterson, realizing that the situation was becoming dangerous, decided to use his influence to protect Anna and Lucas. He convinced the authorities to investigate the case, and Mrs. Henderson was finally arrested. Justice was beginning to be done, but the battle was not over yet. Mrs. Henderson still had powerful allies who were willing to do anything to prevent the truth from coming to light. Anna, realizing that the situation was still unstable, decided to act cautiously. She knew she needed concrete evidence to incriminate all those involved in the corruption plot. She joined Marcos and Mr. Peterson, forming an unbeatable team in the search for the truth. The union between them became stronger and stronger, showing that love, friendship, and courage could overcome any obstacle. With Mrs. Henderson arrested, Anna and her allies focused on exposing the others involved in the corruption plot. They knew it would not be easy, as the powerful people behind the setup would not hesitate to use all means to protect themselves. The tension increased every day, and the feeling that danger was getting closer and closer became constant. Meanwhile, Lucas, seeing his mother's suffering, decided to act on his own. He used his intelligence and curiosity to discover small details that could be important to the investigation. He became a child detective, following clues and unraveling secrets. His innocence and determination inspired everyone around him, showing that hope never dies. In the midst of this story, a new character emerged, an old friend of Anna, who had distanced himself from her after the scandal. He felt guilty for not having believed in her and decided to help her expose the culprits. The arrival of this new ally brought new hope to Anna, but also put her in a risky situation. She needed to decide whether to trust him or whether he would be just another piece in the game of manipulation. The story's setting expanded, taking Anna and her allies to different places in search of evidence and information. They found themselves involved in chases, threats, and direct confrontations with the powerful people behind the corruption plot. The tension increased every day, and everyone's life was at stake, and the fate of Willow Creek was about to be decided. Anna's team, now strengthened by the return of an old friend, was on the verge of exposing the last individuals involved in the corruption scheme. They had gathered enough evidence to incriminate the powerful figures behind the setup, but they knew the final battle would be the toughest. The danger was becoming increasingly imminent, and the tension grew with each passing day. A final obstacle emerged in Anna's path. One of her enemy's allies, who had infiltrated her team, attempted to sabotage the investigation. The betrayal was a severe blow to Anna, who felt deceived and betrayed. The trust that had been so difficult to earn was tested once again. She needed to decide whether to trust her instincts or succumb to fear and insecurity. Lucas, realizing the danger his mother was in, decided to act on his own. He used his intelligence and courage to expose the traitor, saving the investigation and his mother's life. Lucas's act of heroism showed that innocence and determination could be stronger than evil and betrayal. The relationship between mother and son became even more special, based on love, admiration, and complicity. Mr. Peterson, using his influence and wisdom, organized a meeting with the authorities, exposing all the evidence that Anna and her team had gathered. The powerful individuals behind the corruption scheme were exposed and arrested, and justice finally began to be served. The final challenges that Anna and her allies faced served as preparation for the final confrontation, which would be decisive for everyone's future. Loyalty, friendship, courage, and love were put to the test, showing that hope and determination could overcome any obstacle. The journey was reaching its crucial point, and the world was about to witness the turning point in the life of a humiliated mother. The final confrontation took place on a stormy night when Anna and her allies gathered in the town square to expose the truth to everyone. The powerful figures behind the corruption scheme tried to stop them, but the courage and determination of Anna and her team were stronger. The truth came to light, and the culprits were exposed and arrested. Justice finally prevailed, and the city breathed a sigh of relief. The relationship between Anna and Marcos solidified, transforming into a true and unconditional love. They united not only in the fight for justice but also in building a future together. Love had conquered hate, and hope had triumphed over despair. Mr. Peterson, seeing justice being served, felt fulfilled. He had used his influence and wisdom to protect Anna and Lucas, and he had shown that friendship and loyalty were invaluable values. He became an example for everyone in the city, showing that courage and determination could change the world. Years passed since the stormy night when the truth came to light. Willow Creek had transformed into a more just and supportive city where everyone respected and supported each other. Anna, now a strong and inspiring woman, had become a leader in the community fighting for the rights of women and children. She had found happiness alongside Marcos, and together they built a beautiful and united family. Lucas, now a young adult, had become a lawyer, defending the weak and oppressed. He had inherited his mother's courage and determination and had become an example for all the young people in the city. He was proud of his mother and knew that she was his greatest inspiration. The relationship between mother and son remained strong and special, based on love, admiration, and complicity. Mr. Peterson, now an elderly gentleman, continued to be an example of wisdom and generosity. He had become an advisor to everyone in the city, and his words were always heard with attention and respect. He had left a legacy of love and kindness, showing that hope and faith could change the world. Anna's story became a book which inspired people around the world to fight for their dreams and never give up on justice. She had become a symbol of overcoming adversity, love, and hope. Her journey had shown that the turning point in a person's life can transform the world and that good always triumphs over evil. The final surprise, Mrs. Henderson, after serving her time in prison, decided to redeem herself and help other people who had suffered injustices. She had transformed into a better person, showing that regret and forgiveness can heal the wounds of the past. Anna's story, which began with humiliation, ended with redemption and hope, showing that life is a cycle of transformations. Now, it's your turn to write your own story of overcoming adversity. Don't give up on your dreams, and remember that you too can transform the world.